You can turn the switch on any day. Let's assume life is a game we play. No one's scared.
So tonight we're gonna jump into it real quick. So recently, Shaquille O'Neal made some comments, right? Shaq made he was on
Welcome to the
on a podcast with Monica. I believe.
He was on a podcast with
Monica. Yes.
And he made some comments, and so we're gonna play the comments. We're gonna dive into exactly what he said. So we're getting ready to play that, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it. And so
look, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So let's dive into that real quick.
Let's get it.
So how do you, as a man, say now to a younger man, we both have been married and divorced, how do you say to someone else, like, take accountability? Because I think the first issue is that a lot of times when you are in a relationship where you know somebody was a good somebody, they don't want to take accountability because they don't want to look a certain way.
First thing you have to be is honest with yourself and honest with your partner. However it goes, I do this, I don't do this. If you say you're going to be one way, be that way. You can't say, I do, and then be over here doing something else. That's what most of us get in trouble. I tell my sons all the time, a man has 3 jobs when it comes to a woman: protect, provide, and love. Some men can only offer 2 for whatever reason.
Right.
But I'm going to teach you how to offer all 3.
Right.
And that's what I try to do. And even though I don't have a relationship with the women that I let get away, I will always PPL, protect, provide, whatever they need, they get it from me. Shawnee's married. I'm happy for her. I hope this gentleman treats her the way she's supposed to be treated. And I'm going to still love her. And she's still my wife. I will always protect, provide, and love for her, married or not.
Yeah.
Because she
Well, how
gave
does
me
that
something.
change, though? Because once you add someone else to the equation, is that a conversation you have first?
No, it's just how I was raised.
Right.
You protect, you provide, and you love your woman. We have 5 children together. She's getting married to another man. I'm not going to just be, nope.
Right.
People need to know and understand that you protect, you provide, and you love for your woman,
Right.
whether you're together or you're not. I think that's the problem with a lot of men. You broke up, nope. Whatever she needs, whatever the babies need, I'm gonna be there forever. And the same goes with my first love, Arnetta. So I'm always be there for them. If they want to get married and find people better than me, I understand that. I accept that because it's what we call in my sport a turnover. If you don't turn the ball over, you can score. So if you turn the ball up and you give another person an opportunity to score, maybe they can score better. So, I wish her nothing but the best. I want her to be happy, and I want her to, just live a happy life.
Hey, y'all. So welcome back.
Welcome back. So as you heard, we just played what Shaq said on the podcast. He was on a podcast with Monica, as referring to his exes. Said it's so much in that. It's so much in that. So let's kind of start here. Let's just because
Okay, so I'll start because I'm a female. So basically, Shaquille O'Neal did an interview with Brandy, as you all heard, and if you didn't hear it, you can go listen to it back on the replay.
Monica.
I'm sorry. Shaquille O'Neal did an interview with Monica. I apologize, on her podcast. And they were talking about relationships, and he declared on the podcast that he messed up. He had 2 solid women in his life. One was his first child's mother, and then the second one, of course, was Shawnee O'Neal, of whom we all know. She's now married to Pastor Keon, which, congratulations to them, are still in order because they are, somewhat still newlyweds. And his comment was basically, even though she is newly married, she will always be my wife. I will always protect, provide for her, even though she's newly married. He was like, that's the way he was brought up. That's not going to change. And on the internet, some people were like, how are you going to protect, provide for somebody else that's not your wife no more? But that's from the school that he's from. And I don't know if it's different because, Shaq is a billionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. I don't know if the mindset is a little different, but some men say, after we're divorced, cut the ties, cut the losses. Yes, you can provide for your children, even though they are grown adults, take care of your children. but you know what? I'm not your wife no more. You ain't got to worry about me. So I'll let Mr. Butler dive in first to how he feels about Mr. Shaquille O'Neal's comment. Lord Jesus, I hope you don't come after us. But what's your thoughts?
Okay, so as we look at the topics, we're going to start with discuss boundaries.
Discuss boundaries. Okay.
You have to discuss your boundaries first. So I feel like this. I feel like going into this situation, this should have been talked about in private with all parties. It doesn't seem like they had this conversation face to face. It just doesn't it doesn't appear that Shaq had this conversation with her new husband, Pastor Keon. So I'm just a little bit confused because how was she always your wife? Like, you gave up that privilege. You gave that up. And so is this something that should be discussed before you say I do, or before you join and create this blended family?
So what you mean as far as him relinquishing his rights because he's no longer married to her, or providing? Because what he said was, even though we're not together, I'm always going to provide for her. I'm going to, protect her. I'm going to look out for her. I'm going to be there for her. So are you saying, he didn't say, he said, I'll always love her. And I don't know. So Carl, now keep in mind, you all, Carl may speak from a place because I'm his second wife, but in his first marriage, he didn't have any children. So sometimes that can look a little different. From my perspective of being married, of course, the second time around with children bringing into the relationship. As for me, in this house, in this temple, I was not anticipating on my husband ever saying, that, we will always be married and he's always going to protect and provide for me. I was never under that mindset. Now, has he said to my children and to other people, yes, he has said, I love Ebony. And, she will always be the mother of my children, so there is a love there. But we never had a conversation of, you're always going to protect and provide for me. When we got divorced, I did not receive any extra alimony pay. I didn't want any of that. Just provide for your children and we keep it moving. I think there does need to be some boundaries set. Now, I don't know if he said it to be sarcastic, because Pastor Keon is a pastor, and some people are under the pretense, pastors don't make money, but Pastor Keon seemed like he was a pretty well-established man before he met Miss Shawnee. So I think he has a little bit of coinage on him. But there are levels to this thing. So maybe Shaquille feels like maybe it is his conscience, maybe talking that he knows that he missed out on a great woman, because he has said it multiple times. Like, I've heard him say since she's been remarried that she's a great mother, she's a great woman, I messed up. And maybe this is his conscious talking, saying, what, because I messed up, I'm gonna always protect and provide for her.
But see, I
think they still, they may even, honestly, because they were married, they may even still have some maybe joint ventures or businesses together too. So I mean, that may be some stuff that we're not privy to. So maybe he's like, I'm going to make sure that my assets are taken care of, and I'm going to make sure that our stuff is always going to be on the up and up. We don't know about that stuff either, but
see, what he said verbatim, what he said was, she's going to always be my wife. Now that's weird.
How's that weird?
As a man, some stuff you don't say. That's like a woman saying to another woman that now has her ex-husband, he's gonna always be my husband. Like, he's gonna, that would be so weird. That would set off such a chain of events. So is it weird or
disrespectful? Because
it's both. It's weird and it's disrespectful. And so I think that the first thing you have to do is set boundaries. Like, okay, I need to know this coming in. If you feel like that, because Shaq, he's been on this tour. Every time they ask him about his past relationships, it's always brought up, well, I missed out on a good one. Yep. Okay, well, that's something you got to get over. Like,
or maybe he's in the healing process.
Your healing process shouldn't disrupt my relationship.
I don't think it disrupts his relationship, but maybe he's just acknowledging that, Miss Shawnee. She's a good woman. I messed that thing up, and because I didn't maybe do right by her like I should have, then I'm gonna keep protecting my investment.
So
because he might still be paying alimony payments.
he's not. So
You don't know that.
You don't keep paying alimony when you're remarried. So Mom Pamela Butler said, I think it's very disrespectful for him to say she is still his wife and he should still provide for her. Of course, you should always provide for your kids, no matter how old they are. Thank you.
Right.
He knows what he's doing as a man.
So do you think he's digging? You think that's a dig?
Yeah, of course it is. Because as a man, you know what buttons to push. And so he knows that gets up under her new husband's skin. Like, he knows that. Yes.
Well, but they even said that they even invited him to the wedding.
It don't matter. Of course they invited him to the wedding. He's the father of all these kids. But it's just,
I was about to say something.
He's saying that to kind of get up under their skin.
You think so?
Of course. Because it's no longer your responsibility to do or say certain things once the mother or the father of your kids has gotten remarried. It's trifling. I don't have another word for it.
Trifling.
It's just it's weird. And
I do agree with your Mama Butler. I do think that there should be some level of respect. Like, baby, that's your ex-wife. Y'all are exes for a reason, and the whole world knows, some of the reasons that were, I would say that was outwardly to express. People know why y'all are exes, but I do think it takes on a different level of disrespect to her new husband. I absolutely do think it is disrespectful, because it's like, okay, don't do that. You can have, some, I won't say resentment. Can't even resentment. You may have some, feelings of, dang, I messed up a good thing, but you gotta keep it moving. Like, she's not your wife.
And I think it's different. And you can see on the screen that the next point is forever mine. I think it's different with men and women. I think when a man gets remarried, there's a certain respect he expects for his ex to have. But I don't think a lot of men can handle when the woman they consider the one that has now gotten away, when they get remarried. Because it's because men are very possessive
and territorial,
and so we see that as like, oh, she's always mine, like that's the mother of my kids, and so she's not forever yours. Like, it's no longer, once that divorce decree is signed, it's no longer your responsibility to provide for her. You have to provide for your kids, but to look at a woman that's married and say it's still my responsibility to provide for her, that belittles her husband. Like why would you say that? You know this man. This woman is married now to this man, and I just consider it, you got to let go. And I think that sometimes people, they can't let go, and I would caution anybody going into a blended family that it's probably going to happen, because you don't know what feelings are left over. You don't know the history there. I mean, it's just, yeah, it can be a lot.
I think it can be a lot, but again, I think his comments are based off of him knowing that he messed up a good thing. So maybe in his heart, he's trying to hold on. And no offense, he ain't going nowhere. She ain't going. They are going to be in each other's lives until them kids die.
Yeah.
So he's not going to go. I mean, so either y'all going, as some people have talk shows called Let's Talk About It, either they're going to sit down and talk about it, or somebody going to get checked, or somebody going to get a fight. Hopefully they don't get no fight, but I do believe that there should be some ground rules. You all are exes for a reason. And, I've never heard Miss Shawnee talk about, Mr. Shaquille O'Neal is still my husband.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, she, from what I see, and, because I do watch, because they actually have a podcast, and I do watch their podcast, and she seems like she's pretty content.
Yeah.
So I hope that, again, I don't know if it's like he said, that's how he was raised. So I don't know if that's just from the level of, that's how he was raised. That's what, he's always said. I'm going to take care of whoever has had my children.
See, I got a problem with that, with him saying, well, that's just how I was raised, to always take care of my wife and my kids. So you was raised to take care of them after the fact, like not while
Well,
you're.
yeah, he did. He
like-
paid child support.
No. But my point is, why didn't you have that same energy when y'all were married?
He did.
Like
He did.
didn't,
He had that
because
same energy.
he's-
He went out on that court
he's-
every night and
he's
dribbled that
even-
ball.
He's even admitted he wasn't the husband he needed to be. So now all of a sudden, when she's remarried, now you want to step in and be the husband you need to be. That's disrespectful, man.
No,
That's-
he talking.
that's
I
disrespectful.
think I don't. Okay, I took it as he will financially always be available.
He said that's gonna always be my wife. He said
I didn't
provide.
take it as I'm here to counsel to soothe her heart. You know, if they having some rough times, I did not perceive that as he gonna be there. He gonna be Johnny on the spot if something pop off. I perceived it financially. I'm gonna take care of her.
Hey y'all, what's up, Jerica, Clara?
Ooh, let's ask
Shayla?
Jerica. Hey, Jerica,
Yeah.
happy birthday!
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
So if anybody want to call in and give us your opinion,
Yes.
we're talking about the comments of Shaquille
Shaquille
O'Neal.
O'Neal.
Him making about Shawnee will always be his wife, and he will always PPL, as he said, protect, provide, and love. So
he can still love her. Like I said,
that's disrespectful, man.
that's not disrespect. He can still love her.
That's
You can't tell somebody stop loving them.
But see, no,
I
you're
think
absolutely
there's
right.
different levels to this love thing.
You're absolutely right.
You can't tell that man he can't stop loving her.
You can't tell him to stop loving her, but it's time for you. That lady is married now. It's time for you to show respect for their marriage.
I think
and say, I'm gonna stop talking about it on every platform. Like when it's brought up,
He ain't gonna stop
just-
talking about it until we stop asking questions.
But still,
We
when-
need to stop asking
when-
questions then.
Whenever it's brought
shouldn't
up,
say we,
He
'cause-
just need to say that's the mother of my kids. I respect her. I love her. That's it. Like, just let it go. All that. I'm still here to provide for her, and I still got her back. Like, man, you didn't do that when you was married. So why are you interfering with these people's relationship now?
He did. He went out on that court, like I said.
If he did, they would have still been married.
No,
Like-
if maybe he wasn't led away by the lust of the eye and some other temptations, they would have still been married. But I understand again, like you can't tell that man not to love that woman. Your love, I believe your love changes. At least my love, when I got divorced, my love changed.
But see, even that.
My love is totally different.
Okay, so the next
What?
topic that we're looking at on the screen is
Hold on.
manipulation.
Okay, we're gonna talk about manipulation. So what do you all think out there? Like I said, y'all can, like Carl said, y'all can feel free to call in. We would love to hear your thoughts. We would love to read your comments on the air. But I do think that there is some transition. There should be some transition of power when you get divorced. And you again, I say this, I don't love my ex like that at all.
But see,
As long as you provide for them children, them 4 beautiful daughters, we are fine.
See, I just think
That's all I care
think
about.
men know what they're doing, and okay, I'll even tell a situation me and Ebony dealt with. Like there came a time where her ex said, "Let's go to counseling." Like after the fact, and tried to put it into the guise of for the kids. Like
That's what we gonna do.
I'm just saying like we're talking about it, and so
Yes,
I'm just
that's
telling
fine.
you, me coming into it, that's how it came off. Like, no, the time for counseling was before you got remarried, but now that you're married, that's not a family unit no more. Like, this is the family unit, and so it can come off, and I'm not saying it that men do it to be disrespectful, but maybe you don't realize that once that divorce paper is signed, that's no longer your responsibility to be like, oh, let's go to counseling now all these years later. No, you should have did that in the marriage. Like, why didn't, and we're relating it to the whole Shaq thing. Why didn't you have these same sentiments towards her when y'all were married? Because if you had these same sentiments toward her while y'all was married, you wouldn't be crying about what you lost.
I think it's all about in the context.
Manipulation.
I think it's
It
all
is
about within the
manipulation.
context of why we needed to quote go to counseling. We did not go to counseling, so y'all ain't gotta worry about it.
Manipulation.
We're not together. But no, I do believe that there are people that get divorced, though. I do believe as we transition into manipulation, I do believe that people do manipulate their exes. I do believe that people still try to play and prey on them to see if they still got any room to come back into their life. I absolutely believe that, and I think that's disrespectful, and I think that's sad. And as sometimes people say, that's just the devil. That's a trick of the devil to get you to go back.
And so we just got a comment from Andrea. Andrea said,
"Hey, Andrea."
She said, "My ex tried the same thing, but wouldn't when we was married." Exactly. Like he probably tried. Well, let's go to counseling, but why did you do this when you was? That's what I'm saying. It's like a playbook for the men who lost what they really wanted, and maybe because of their issues with trust or love, or they was hurt, or ego was bruised. Now you wait to all this time later, and be like, "Oh, we could have worked that out."
No, they doing it for the kids. They doing it for the. They trying to make sure that the whole blended family.
You know what that sound like?
It's secure.
That sounds like a baby mama who say, "We need to go on vacation together for the kids."
Oh, hamburger, we not. We not doing that.
Maybe we all need to go out to eat for the kids.
I mean, we can go out. I mean, I don't. Okay, so I'm a little different. I don't have a problem. I honestly I would think it was humorous. If anybody knows me, I got a weird kind of twisted humor. So I would think it's funny if we all going out to dinner together. But I think we should be all adult enough that we should be able to go out to dinner and sit at the table together. If we have children. Oh, he ain't never this quiet. Father? I thought the rapture came real quick. Woo, you okay over there? You okay?
I ain't said nothing.
So you don't think you could go to dinner with your ex if there's a blended family? Ooh, is that Jerica? Come on, Jerica.
So Andrea said I told him to kick rocks shoeless. So mom said I got some counseling for him. I promise you he ain't gonna like it.
Ooh,
Jerica,
Mother
I agree
Butler.
with Carl on this one. Once you're an ex, it's a wrap. I think Shaq did that to be petty towards her husband. Now since they're getting publicly with the podcast and TV shows, me too. I think that Shaq sees how happy she is. I think that he couldn't believe, and some men are so
I agree with
narcissistic. And Shaq, he's got money. Everybody loves him, but he's probably trying to figure out why she don't see me as everybody else. And so,
because she know his backstory.
And so he probably thought she ain't going nowhere. I can do what I want to do. Then when I get old, we're gonna grow old together. Like, no, he's shocked. I guarantee you, he's shocked to see she's actually moving on with somebody, and you can tell they love each other.
Okay, so
you can really tell they get along.
So do you think that he's more shocked, or is it because, okay, yes, he's shocked and it's with a pastor and it's with what a quote unquote what we may deem as a normal guy, because he thought, like you said, that she's not going to marry somebody of more affluent status as him, or maybe on his same level. And now, I'm not to say Pastor Ken ain't on his level financially, but because we don't know about what he got going on in his payroll, praise God. But I think honestly, I think for a lot of people, their relationship, it really kind of shook up some things, because it's like, oh wow, she's not your quote unquote traditional first lady, as wherever this mindset of what the first lady's supposed to look like. That's the first lady's supposed to tend to the needs of the husband first. First and foremost, that other stuff we could work out. But I think that some people are honestly, and I think he's probably shocked, like, wow, she's a pastor's wife now. Look at this woman that, she's an executive producer of her own show. She has her own money, I think he's shocked, probably because the gentleman that she seems to be married to is somewhat of just
he probably never imagined her with him,
a normal guy, right? And so like a more down to earth, somewhat.
He probably thought,
guy.
Especially with Shawnee being on Basketball Wives, and he probably thought she would end up with a baseball player or a basketball player, or somebody with power. But
he's a very smart businessman. Yeah, I will say Pastor Ken is an extremely smart businessman.
But he probably never saw her like, you a pastor's wife? Like
most people did not.
Really?
Yeah, so, it shocked a lot of people.
So Claire said, "Don't miss your water until the well runs dry."
Yep.
He's been a big old kid, and as if he's finally grown up and seeing how he messed up. Yep. Andrea, we're at that point now. Me and my husband, him and his wife and the kids were all together for Brandon's graduation. It was an awesome experience.
See,
that's great.
That's mature. That's mature. That's growth. and people can do it.
Yeah.
Now I ain't saying everybody can do it, because some of these exes, y'all don't need to be going no children's graduations together. Don't be going to the cookout, because the police will get called. But I think there should come a level at point of a relationship where you, again, this is not about us. We had our run, and when we had to run, it was good, and then it went where it went, and this is where we are today. But don't try to start no friction. That's my thing. And like you said, manipulation, and just like men manipulate, women manipulate too. So I just think all parties need to be clear, and I think there should be somewhat of a little come to Jesus moment before you get married, to have some ground rules discussed. I know Carl and I, we had a come to Jesus meeting about, about far as discipline and what, certain level of expectations are. But as far as that, we married, we always going to be together.
That's weird.
Holding
man.
it down now.
That's weird.
Mm-mm.
That's
absolutely. Yeah. It's not, don't say it's weird.
That's weird.
It's,
That's weird.
It's just, it may be a layer of level of this. I'm sorry, I shouldn't tell you, don't say it's weird. It may just be a little different.
It's disrespectful, and it's disrespectful because you're saying it on, you know who you are.
National platform.
And once you say this, it's not just national, it's going worldwide.
Yeah.
That man gonna have to hear about this at his church. Like, and I guarantee you, he probably won't even respond to it.
He probably won't.
I don't think that's the type of person he is.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be addressed. And me, I wouldn't respond to it. I would just see him, and I'll be like, well, you can keep being miserable, because I know that's what it is.
I don't think he's miserable.
I do.
I just think he may have some regrets.
I think as a man, seriously,
I think he has some regrets.
So as a man, when you keep talking about something and talking about something and talking about something, and you just can't let it go, he's growing older now. And Shaq has even said it. He's even said that, when he was in the NBA, he thought he was going to always have the world at his fingertips, and Shawnee was at home holding it down. He didn't expect her to actually leave. And so now that he's growing older, and that's what a lot of people going to figure out. A lot of people going to figure out all these games you played when you was younger. When you start growing older and you realize you ain't got nobody to grow old with, that's going to mess your head.
But I thought he had a girlfriend. Last time I saw Shaquille O'Neal,
he always got a girlfriend.
I was watching something on a ATL that was actually a cooking show, and she was talking about how she cooks for him. Like, the way this man eats, that's some different kind of level. Like, she's a chef and everything. Yeah. The last girlfriend, I don't know if he switched up, but
he always got a girlfriend. And I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but none of his girlfriends seem like wives. Like, he dated Hoops, who was on Flavor of Love. Like, he keep dating these chicks that they don't seem like wives. Now, I don't know them personally, but I ain't trying to wife nobody who's on Flavor of Love. I'm just being honest with you.
That's horrible.
We ain't wife nobody that was on Flavor of Love.
Why not? You Flavor Flav? that show was special.
That's weird.
No, that show was weird.
But not. So, and the last point, divide and conquer. I think that's kind of. I honestly think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to, because he knows. I don't know Shawnee and Pastor Keon's relationship, but that can create some problems in the home. Like, it can start arguments.
I think it can if people are not, if they're not secure. I think it only can start confusion if you're not secure in your relationship with your partner. That's only how that person, like the mothers of church will say, that's just a trick of the devil trying to come in and to divide the family.
That's what it is. It's just that old divide and conquer. And I really disagree with that.
I think if you are secure within your relationship, you shouldn't have no problems.
Yeah.
What shall we say? What's the next? Or anybody else say anything?
Andrea said, yes, it's very weird. Then she said, but she's not a wife. I'm telling you, these females he's running around with, you could tell he has a great deal of regret, because he said
it. He admitted he messed up. Ain't nothing else we gonna do.
Like, it's time to let it go. You got all the money in the world. You got
that don't mean
you
nothing.
Can pick whoever you want to be with, but
even there was like a billionaire lady over in Saudi Arabia that wanted to get at him or something like that, and I guess that didn't even work out. Which I was like, dang, gone. But
it's time to let it go, Shaq.
Shut up! I don't want him coming after.
You keep
But
You
no, I
keep
do.
talking
I
about
mean,
it,
I
talking
do.
about it, but it's
And
time.
again, I think he
time to let it
only
go, man.
talks about it because people bring it up. You ain't addressing. I'm not going to address something if you're not bringing it up. People bring it up because it is still, again, like I said, they still newlyweds, so they gonna keep talking about it, and it is what it is. You know, I do wish him to find hopefully a wife and someone that he can have as a lifelong companion. Because I don't want
too.
nobody to be by themselves.
Cause you know what it is. I don't. Even though I may not care for you or like you, I don't want to see anybody be miserable. Because when you're miserable, you make other people miserable.
You stretching it, saying a man. He is not miserable.
When you keep talking about your ex,
Again,
you are
he's
miserable.
talking about it because people are bringing it up.
Listen, if there's any man,
That man
here,
ain't miserable.
If there's
He fine.
if there's any man here,
He
please
got some
hit
regret.
the link in the comments and call in, because
That man
I
ain't
feel
miserable.
like I feel like as a man, when you make comments like that, and
I think he has regrets.
And let me just show you something else. The
you
way
gonna show
the
me?
way he disrespects her new relationship.
What?
When you constantly say her husband, you know that man's name. You can easily say, you know, she married a nice guy, Pastor Keon. He intentionally refers to him, and it's something that men do. Your husband. It's kind of like,
What's wrong with that?
it's disrespect. It's disrespect.
Okay, so we can't say your ex-wife.
You know their name, like you.
Oh my
you know
God.
their. It's. He keeps saying the young man. He keeps saying her.
No, I hate when he says that.
He
That-
calls him the young man. like,
that does irritate me. I don't like that. I'm like, you being petty. To me, now that's disrespectful. The young
You know
man.
how I know that's disrespectful?
I think that's disrespectful when he says that.
Because Ebony's ex called me the young man one time. My nigga, you talking to?
You about to get us kicked. You can't
I'm
say
sorry.
that.
But no, for real though.
About
For
to
real though.
fall out.
Men know that's disrespectful.
Oh, God, that's y'all's ego.
You
That's
know
their ego.
You know that man's name. Like, you know that ain't her little boyfriend, her little husband, the young man, the pastor. Like, come on, you know that man's name. Get out of here with that.
God.
Like,
That's y'all's ego.
it's disrespectful, man. And it further shows, it further proves my point that he's miserable without her.
He's not miserable.
He's miserable without her.
He's not miserable.
He's miserable without her.
He has a regret in life.
So Claire said he also spoke about his love forever for his first love.
Exactly.
Why is she not discussed? Because she's not so well known, perhaps. Listen,
probably
he did. And I think.
Yeah, the first mother of his child. Yeah.
So honestly, what I think is, when you're getting older as a man, you start looking back and you do have regrets. And his first regret is, dang, I messed it up with the first one. Okay, but then I looked up and found Shani, and she was great. I messed it up with her. And so you messed up with two great women. And now that these women have moved on, now you're on this worldwide tour.
He is not on no worldwide tour. You're so petty.
Talking
People
about
have
how
brought
you
it
miss
again.
them and, come
People
on,
have
man.
brought it to. I'm gonna say what I say. People have brought it up. If you ain't bringing it up, then ain't nothing to talk about.
You
People
can
have
bring it up, but it's all in how you address it too. Like, it's all in, like, people can bring up my ex and ain't gonna never say nothing bad about her. Now, if I start talking bad about her, that says more about me than her. And so I don't know, man. It's just it's crazy. Like, it's disrespectful.
Oh God,
Highly disrespectful.
What's the next topic, Lord?
So
today?
we want to hear what y'all think. The link is up in the comments. Y'all can call in. Come on, y'all, hit the link. Call in. We want to know what y'all think on this subject. Have you ever dealt with something like this? Have you ever dealt with an ex so you feel like it's hating a little bit? Like, just a little bit. You know, they be hating a little bit.
Oh my God. Anyway,
They be hating a little bit.
So what's the next disrespectful comment? What's the next disrespectful topic we about to talk about this
I
evening?
don't know. You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about everybody reposting Dr. Umar's comments. This Joker here, boy.
I don't know
Oh,
if I'm
my
ready to
gosh.
do this tonight
Oh my gosh,
about the black men.
that's crazy. to
Here
me.
we go.
That's
You
just
got the
crazy to
clip?
me. I ain't got the clip. I wasn't prepared for it, but everybody know what I'm talking about.
I'm not
Because
ready.
now everybody's reposting what Dr. Umar, what he was talking about. So we're gonna transition a little bit. As y'all can see, we just kind of shooting the breeze tonight. So
Oh God.
we're gonna move on from
I don't know if I'm ready to unpack that.
from Shaq being bitter, and we're gonna go to
He's not
Dr.
bitter.
Umar.
He just has some. He just in a moment of regret. That's all. He's just being reflective.
Well, keep that regret to yourself. We tired of hearing about it. We really
Don't say
are.
don't say we tired. He's bringing it up because people are bringing it up to him.
We tired of hearing about it.
Anyway, go ahead. What we
That
got to
lady
talk about
married
now?
and moved on. All right.
I don't think we should talk about this.
Why not? We got a few minutes.
I think we should just stay on the path of relationships and just.
All right, we're gonna stay on the path. We ain't gonna.
I don't want to
you know.
veer on that Dr. Umar. We talk about him maybe next week or the week after to calm you.
I'm just saying. Listen.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay. We ain't gotta talk about it, but
I don't want to talk about it.
I feel like this, and we'll talk about it in a later podcast. I really feel like this. I feel like when you talk about black love, when you want to talk that black love stuff and building community stuff, and someone once told me, honestly, the greatest thing a black man can do for his community is marry a black woman and raise kids with her. That's the greatest thing a black man can do for his community. So we keep talking community, black love, black love, black love. But in all your 40-something years, you ain't found one black woman to settle down and have kids. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make sense to me. And, okay, if I needed financial advice, would I go to somebody who's never invested anything? If I needed marriage advice, would I go to somebody who's never been married? If I needed advice on writing books, would I go to someone who's never written a book? Why do we keep listening to these people who have never proven anything? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. But
I don't want to talk about it because I think it's a lot of different layers.
It is different layers.
It's a lot of different layers.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I think people are free to marry who they want to marry. And I understand about keeping it. I understand, trying to keep the chocolate power. And, I'm all about it. But if the options that have presented themselves to certain women and female have not been the positive, you need to marry the options, the positive options that have been presented. And sometimes they it may not be a black male.
No, I'm not talking about interracial. I'm not.
I was about to say, because
no, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm just saying I respect our interracial brothers and sisters.
No, like, I don't even care about that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is,
but Dr. Umar was not just talking about, he was just talking about talking to those young black men, saying, what have you all done again to rebuild the community? What have you all done to help these wonderful black sisters not to marry Pookie, Ray Ray, John, and all these? He was just asking questions, and I felt like when he was asking questions, those young black men, like you and I discussed, they took it personal. It was not being a personal attack, but he was just saying, what are you doing to help you build your community?
And you know what their response was?
Oh, Father.
What over his response? He said,
they said they married a black woman.
He said, I married a black woman and I'm raising black kids.
And that's all.
So until you walk down the aisle and marry that black woman and raise some black kids, you can give all the speeches you want to give. You can go to state. You can be the most requested speaker. Until you actually marry a black woman and raise black kids with her, don't talk that black stuff. That's all I'm saying. But
again, he was saying though that if we're talking about building up communities, we are the ones that built the communities. So what are we doing? He asked those young black men, which I understand because I asked you that question too. That's why I said we are not trying to talk about this tonight. Like, what as black men, if we're trying to help other young black men be better because maybe they have not seen better, what are you doing to pour back into your own community? I could respect the man's comment. I respected it.
Well, I guess that's why we differ, because
Jesus, it's okay that we differ.
Yeah, I know.
But I just respect the man's comment. I respect what he was trying to say. Like, don't just look at it as me and my house, it stops right here. No, what are you doing to invest? If we're supposed to be investing and building each other, what are we doing to make each other better?
No,
that's what I took from what
I understand
he said.
that. I understand everything he's saying about reaching back, helping young black men. If you're a black man, I get that. But what I also understand is that the first thing you have to do is that like I said, the greatest thing you can do is marry a woman and raise kids with her. So when we're talking about I'm gonna change the world, I'm gonna change the world, I'm gonna change the world, you have to first start in your household. Like you have to first start in your household. And I think he was kind of dismissive over those men. Was like, well, I'm married and I'm raising kids, and so he took it a step further. He was like, okay, that's what you're doing individually. What are you doing for the community?
Collectively, yes.
That is collectively, because watch this. My mother and father raised.
We said we wasn't doing
my
this.
mother and father raised two kids. No, serious. My mother and father, they raised 2 kids.
Okay.
Those 2 kids went out into the world and made a difference in the world. My sister's a teacher. I've written books. You know, forget about my accounting degree and all that. What I've helped to do, whether it's my purpose talks, whether it's writing books, whether it's preaching the gospel, whether it's my sister teaching school, whether it's helping kids, like what they did individually has now been implanted in their kids to go out and help the community. So I think he was just he's being dismissive of saying, well, that's on a smaller scale. No, that's everything. I
do not. Oh God, we're not trying to talk about this.
Anyway, so
I don't think he was trying to be dismissive. Again, he was making a point of saying you don't want these black women to quote unquote, because he said it, y'all don't want these quote unquote angry black women, but it's not their fault that they're angry black women. Like we talked about the week before, some of them have been put in situations. Again, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. So you can't get mad at sister girl if she's frustrated because of the situation that she's in. Yes, we all could have made better choices and decisions, Father God, but this is a decision that she made. She's trying to do the best she can. He was saying, okay, you can't get mad that she messing with Pookie and Ray Ray, but Pookie and Ray Ray, they need somebody to help them and teach them. What are you doing to help Pookie and Ray Ray? That's all the man said. That's all the man said. And y'all got in y'all's feelings. Y'all felt some type of way about the man saying, what are y'all doing to help Pookie and Ray Ray get better?
Hey Stephanie, what's going on? So I understand what he's saying. I understand about
we weren't talking about. See, we are not supposed to be talking about this.
I mean, it's a short conversation.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm not talking about this.
So I understand what he's saying about what are we doing to help Pookie and Ray Ray, but I ain't trying to be funny or nothing. There's always gonna be a Pookie and Ray Ray. There's no, from the dawn of time, Cain and Abel, there's nothing. God himself couldn't help Cain be a better person. Like there's just always gonna be people who have a messed up mindset, and so we always want to look at people. You just said that what did you just say about women being angry? They were put in that position to become angry, but Sunday after Sunday,
I didn't say they got put. I said they are in a position and they've been put there. Now they have some frustrations.
Okay, they became angry because of frustration. But you don't have to become that. We preach Sunday after Sunday. Sunday after Sunday, you can be better, not bitter. You can be better, not bitter.
Amen.
Every situation, if you allow a situation to turn you bitter, I mean, you have to take self-accountability. You have to take accountability and say, you know what, and you know what, we can relate this back to what we were talking about with Shaq. I think he's allowed his regret to kind of make him bitter a little bit, because when you look at how he addresses her husband, you know, saying little stuff as we said earlier, you know, calling him the young man and the preacher and him, like, you know that man's name. You've allowed your regret in life to kind of make you bitter. I think Shaq is bitter for a grown man. You are almost 50 years old.
I think he just has regrets, but go ahead.
Keep your regrets to yourself. Like, it ain't gonna help nothing.
So I'll say this. I understand we do talk about helping people, you know, get over your bitterness, get over your anger, but you also have to teach people. You can't just tell people. We can't just lay hands, put some oil on you until you go be healed and be delivered, and not give people resources. That's doing them a disservice. That's what counselors are for. Again, we have to tell people, okay, yes, you may be angry. Yes, you may be bitter, but let me help you. In every situation, even in the Bible, it's a process. It's a process. As the Bible says, even some of the scriptures that God healed them, they were healed as they went. okay, after we get these people healed and delivered, after we get these people, you know, freeing up from fornication, drinking, smoking weed, what are we doing to help them?
Now, you just said they was healed as they went. Some people want to sit right in their bitterness, and even we'll tell them, listen, you got to go to counseling. It's not going to get better if you keep sitting around the same people.
And I
it's not going to be
understand that,
better.
but we have to offer them resources. Some stuff is not always just counseling. Some stuff is, you know what, we need to do some job development education. Take them. Hey, here's a community agency that, you know what, let's get your credit repaired. That's what I feel that Mr. Umar was trying to say. What are we doing within our community to help us be better? What comments? We are not supposed to be talking about this. Hi, y'all. What the people saying?
So Stephanie, I think Stephanie was saying when you was talking, I agree with that. Andrea said I agree with Carl. Listen, it's not just a fix all for our community, right?
It's a lot of different things that go into it.
It's a lot of different things, because I was even thinking about this the other day. I watched a movie, Boys in the Hood, and so
I ain't watched movies forever.
in Boys in the Hood, as you grow older, you get more of an understanding to it. Remember when Doughboy was younger? He was the one who was the gangster, Ice Cube, when he got older. So I remember when he was younger, how his mama was like, you ain't ish. You ain't gonna be ish. You just like your daddy. Your daddy went ish and you ain't gonna be. And so no matter the positive men that could have been in his life, when you always constantly hear that in your household, I think that not only are black men responsible for creating Pookies and Ray Rays, a lot of bitter mothers are responsible for creating Pookies and Ray Rays.
Okay, so can we transition to that then? Let's transition to
and then
let's talk about the family structure.
But it's a cycle, because who created the mother to be bitter, and who taught that man not to be there for his kids? So
it was her situation. It's her situation that has made her bitter. Okay, so let's just transition now and just talk about the whole family unit. And well, honestly, I mean, you know, we are, no offense, we are what the statistics talk about. I mean, if you want to be honest, we are a young black couple. We are remarried, married twice. I know oftentimes we hear about it, talk about in church, you know, the divorce statistics in the church are so high. We are one of those statistics sitting next to each other. I mean, that is our story. That's our reality. Thank God we got remarried. For some people, they do get remarried. For some people, they don't. I was coming to a point that for me, this is just me and my little timeline. If I wasn't going to get remarried pretty soon, I was going to be okay with being single, because I was starting to become content in my singleness. So I will say that. So you and I are both statistics sitting here talking to each other. And that's one reason why we did come up with the Loveless Marriage, to help other young couples, you know, going through transitioning from being married, now divorced, now getting remarried and trying to find hope again. But we are the statistic. And I will say this, even when I was going through my divorce, for me, I felt shame. There was shame. I dealt with that part of my divorce, being shame, because I felt like, and I'm sure people in church, you know, I come from, both of my parents are in church, pastor's kids. My husband, he's a pastor's child, bishop's child. I had all of those elements, and not just the shame of getting divorced, because we know what the Bible speaks about divorce, you know, just having children and having the unit, and just feeling like, okay, I let all of these people down, and, you know, not just myself, I let my parents down. So I even thought about the shame of that. Like, you know, they may not have felt any shame about, you know, me getting divorced, but I felt the shame of that. And then now, okay, well, here I am, and now I got to rebuild my life. And I don't care what anybody says, even when you're going through divorce, you do have moments of regret, like Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. So that's why I can say I can identify with the regret. You do have some moments of regret. You do have some moments of bitterness that does set in. And then you have some moments like, you know, we said, you know, then you start counting up the cost of what you lost, because you do, like, to me, divorce is grief. It is a death of a relationship. It is a death of a thing. And now you're sitting here, like you said, now he's sitting there dealing with the reality. Okay, well, this is my new normal now. This is my new life. And now the fifth thing is, okay, Now he's like, okay, well now I went through, the process, or I'm going through the process. Now I'm trying to rebuild. And that's where we both are even right now. Like, he's rebuilding his life. So the bitterness side of the divorce, it's a lot of different layers. And like you said, the Pookie and Ray Ray, for the boys in the hood, yes, the mom, because we as women, we do have that power and influence over our children. We have to be very careful what we speak and say to our children about their parents, period.
Dre even said he grew up to be what his mom called him to be. Jency said father's house create a lot of dysfunction most times. Listen, I can't even say there's one solution. Like, there has to be many solutions to this.
Yeah.
But what I understand is, no matter what my father taught me, my mom's words meant more than what he taught me. Like, he showed me how to be a man. He showed me the work. But a woman's words can tear down what a man has built up in 2 seconds.
Wow.
Like, a woman's words can tear down what it took a man 10 years to build. With one sentence, a woman can tear that down. And going back to that movie, no matter how bitter she was, she made a choice to open her mouth and speak that same thing over her child. You ain't ish. Your daddy won't ish. All you do is walk. All you do is sit around here, eat, sleep, and like, she made a choice. And guess what? He became exactly. And you remember at the end of the movie when his brother died, he said she always liked him more than me. He went back to being that little boy who remembered that she loved my brother more than me, and that always just tore at him. And so it's a choice. And so I understand you might be bitter, but every time Shaq chooses to open his mouth and speak about her new relationship, that's a choice he made, and he need to shut up about them people. And when he's asked about her, he just needs to say, that's the mother of my kids. I respect her. I love her. Next question.
Okay.
Like, all the extra stuff, her little husband and the pastor and the young man, man, get out of here. Like,
okay, so I will say this. So back to Boys in the Hood, like we said, I absolutely agree that mothers, especially with sons, again, I don't have a son. I wish I had a son. I want a little boy so bad. And that's not why I have 5 kids, because I was trying to have a son. That ain't all. I wish I had a son, because I believe there is a bond like no other between a mother and their son. And I do believe you are right. And as far as what a young man becomes and how he's shaped, his mother's voice has power, and it will always resonate with him. And I love when I see other young men that have had positive relationships with their mothers that now are adults. You can tell there's just a different level of respect that's there. And then I know what it looks like for a man to maybe not have a positive relationship with their mother, what that looks like. Yeah. And that's a different type of place to be in.
Okay, so Stephanie said, yeah, the problem in our community is layered for sure. Claire Banks said, you sound just like your dad when you said he need to shut up. I probably do. Yes. I probably do. But also what came to mind is this also, because, we're just kind of tying it all in. The whole Pookie and Ray Ray, okay, I respect what Dr. Umar said. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I never said I didn't respect what he said. Okay. I just don't like that you're preaching black love and you ain't found nobody to marry, have kids with yet. Like, don't preach to me black love.
Well, maybe he's still trying to.
And so
the Bible says, "The man that findeth." Maybe he hasn't foundeth a wifeth yet.
And so
don't roll your eyes.
He
might not.
And so I feel like this. I feel like for him to say, "Well, Pookie and Ray Ray wouldn't exist if we would reach out and counsel these young men." But guess what? When they're going home to a woman like Ricky mom and I know his name, Doughboy. And remember when Trey came home? Remember when they got older and Doughboy, they were celebrating him coming out of prison, and Trey, he worked a good job, and his dad is in his life, raised by his dad. She said, go talk to him. Maybe what some of you got will rub off on him. But you done spoke negative on this boy his whole life. And now you expect me to reach out to Pookie and Ray Ray and be like, stop being Pookie and Ray Ray. No, stop speaking negative things over your son first, and then we can, like, it's layered. It's
layered,
so many
and I
layers.
think certain things need to happen again from being little into brought up all the way up to now. Again, we don't know, and I'm not justifying a woman ever being disrespectful about their significant other, because, you know, the kids, like my mama always said, the kids did not ask to be here. They got here off a pleasure trip between you and that other person. So they didn't ask to be here. They came here because of that. So since they came here off of y'all's pleasure, then it is what it is. But now that they're here, it is a certain level, it is a certain tone that women do set in the household, give that precedence. And I totally agree with you. Like, I know we joke about it in our house, but I know if we had a son, it would be over. He would be spoiled rotten.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he would. He would love his mama, and he would love women. He definitely would love women. He would take care of them. And I'll say this, even about, I were talking about just the different levels of respect. Even when I was dating you, like how you talked about your mom and how you talked about your aunts, like, to me, that was amazing, because evidently that shows me that there was community again that helped raise you. It was community again.
Started with family.
That helped shape, that's what I'm saying, but helped shape your perception of how you see women, how you respect them, how you talked about them, how your family values, like all of that was community. And because of your family structure and how it is, you know, you were able to speak positively about the women in your life. And that, to me, that meant a whole lot. But like Dr. Umar was saying, maybe in these men, in these type of environments, maybe they're not surrounded by the layers of family, the positive women, the positive enforcement, the positive voices, the positive male teachers. Even I was reading an article about, I think it's only 5% of black male teachers in the school systems. Even that, they're not even getting that from school. So yeah, if you see, no offense, if you're in an environment where you're seeing drug dealers or you seeing men that's out here in the street running game, they're going to, of course, pick up on those attributes. They, of course, because that's all they see. But that's why that's why I said I can see what Dr. Umar was saying. Well, you know what? Yes, you married you a black queen. Yes, you got sons and daughters. How about just go back and pour into the least of them? Even the Bible talks about us helping the least of them. So why can't we now go? Why can't we do a seminar a month to, you know, about men's development or young women? Like, even
I agree with that.
It's so many different, again, because it does start with us in our community, like you were saying.
So Claire said you can't be an expert on something you have no experience with. I think that was relating back to when I said talking about black love, but you ain't found nobody black to love. I just think that, okay, relating something that you just said about black male teachers, it's a catch-22, and the reason why it's a catch-22, and y'all can still call in. We'll put the call-in link back up.
Yes, call in,
and
y'all.
So it's pinned to the top of the comments. We want to hear y'all comments. And so it's okay. Only 5% of teachers are black males. See, it's a catch-22 because teachers don't really make no money, like, unless you have a higher degree of education, unless you have a master's and a doctorate. But see, we can't complain and say, well, black men don't make enough to take care of the family, but then say, well, they're not teachers. Well, why would I go become a teacher when becoming a teacher wouldn't allow me to support my family? But I know that these black kids need to see black male teachers. Like, it's a catch-22.
I understand that, but I also believe that, and this is just me, I believe if that is your gifting and if that's your purpose and if that's what you're called to, I do believe that financial doors and other resources will be open. Some career paths not everybody takes because you are looking to make money off of. Some career paths people take is because it is a passion. For you to be in education in these days and time, in these last and evil days, Father God, for me, you have to be really passionate about wanting children to become better. Because I believe that there's a lot of teachers in these schools that don't give two craps about these children. They are just there, you know, they trying to wind down their time, trying to get their money so they can get their money to secure their retirement. That's just the reality. But there are some teachers that are passionate. But like I said, but a lot of black male presence, I can tell you right now, I'm sitting here reflecting even in my school, in high school. Yeah, matter of fact, there were only 3, let me see, and I ain't talking about the football coaches. And they are teachers. I'm not, no disrespect to the football coaches, because my children are involved in sports. But I'm talking
the coaches were teaching science and
yeah.
like
I'm talking about honestly remembering black male teachers' presence. Even me growing up, I only remember about 2 or 3 black male teachers.
Now, growing up in my middle school, we had a lot of black teachers.
And I'm from up north, so I don't know, y'all from down south, so maybe a little different. But up north, I only had about 2 or 3 black male teachers.
And down here, it's a lot different because, Killer Mike, he pointed this out. Like, we were raised in schools named after black leaders.
Right.
Like, we went to Martin Luther King High.
True.
We went to Langston Hughes. We went to, my high school was at Benjamin Banneker.
Right.
Like all of our schools were named after black leaders. And so I remember my high school science teacher named Mr. Say. I remember like Mr. Campbell. Everybody loved Mr. Campbell. Like I think he was science, but these black males made such an impression on us, and it was needed.
Yeah,
but,
I remember my Mr. Lord Jesus, African American Studies, Mr. Alvin Simpson, and actually we are friends on Facebook. He was like he was a track coach, but he was like one of those kind of no nonsense teachers. And he was a very much he would talk about the military. He had his cup of coffee. I mean, but it was just a level of respect that Mr. Alvin Simpson commanded in the classroom. Yeah. And for me, it was like, okay, wow, this is a black male teacher. All the other teachers I've ever had were either white females or white males.
So, Mina said, this is very true. Hey, Mina. Miss Meriwether. She said, this is very true. Boys that respect their mom grow up and respect women in their life as adults. She also said, I had a lot of male teachers. Yeah, growing up, we had a lot of male teachers. I
have a lot of black male teachers.
Because even down here in the South,
wow,
the cost of living was low. Like, even now it's catching up now, but the cost of living has always been a house in New York that's $500,000. Down here is like $200,000.
Yeah.
And so the cost of living was always reasonable. And so we had more black male teachers. But as that cost of living started growing, black men said we cannot make a living staying in the school systems. And so again, I don't think just mentioning like this broad stroke solution is reasonable, because you can't say we need more black male teachers and then we're not willing to pay these teachers a living wage.
I agree.
And so
these teachers need a whole lot more money.
And then a black man who's teaching, who ain't making no money, he's looked over for the relationships he want, because he can't provide certain things. I think that same black male, he would be better off going into tech, going into STEM, science, technology, engineering, or math, instead of being a teacher, unless you're gonna get your master's and your doctor. But even that, now there's student loan debt that you don't make enough. You still, now with the student loan debt, you still make just barely enough to.
But I thought there was.
I don't think it's worth it.
And maybe our sister-in-law, if she's watching, she can call in, because I thought there was, if you are a teacher, you do get a percentage of some of your student loans waived because of whatever. But but again, I do believe, like we said, there's a lot of different layers to this, and like you said, the voice of a positive female in a black male's life, it does make a difference. And yes, oftentimes women do become bitter because of their situations, because you know what, they're just, again, they're speaking from a place of bitterness when they speak to their sons, if they didn't have positive relationships with their fathers, so they just speak out of their experience. And
so let me ask you this, do you think they know what they're doing? Like, do you think they
I don't.
They realize?
I think they may just be mad out of frustration for that moment. So, and I think in that moment, they're just mad at, it's everything. sometimes being a single mom, when you're frustrated, it's not often like, okay, no, and I'm just being sarcastic when I say this. Sometimes, I would come home from work and my kids would be home before I did. The milk could be setting out and I'm like, dang on, we trying to make it do, the milk could be setting out, all the lights on, all the TV on, they yelling and screaming. They yelling and screaming.
A lot going on.
A lot going on. They did something wrong at school. You opened up the mail. You're like, dang on, I got another bill. I just got off of work. I'm tired. The kid's like, mom, da 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 da. And it's just, something happened. The kid could say the wrong thing at the wrong time. Or like I said, they could get in trouble. And in that moment, she has let all of the everything of that day just pop off and explode or something. Or it could have been anything. It could be the child's father could have called her talking crazy, and now she walk in the door, she got to deal with him, and she look at the kid and he's like, dang, you look just like your mama, or it could be anything. And that moment that mama say something and she just not realizing what she speaks. Like the Bible talks about, just the power of death is in our tongues and what we say. So we do have to be mindful of what we say to our kids. We have to be mindful of what we say around our kids. And then just not even what we say, even how our tone is when we talk about the other partner. Because kids, they pick up on stuff and they remember stuff that you have totally forgot about. And they'll be like, oh, well, mom, I remember when you said this. Or yeah, when I was with my dad, this was brought up. Like, and even dealing with divorce, Jesus, that's another podcast itself. You just got to be careful, because I think that's how even children know how to manipulate both sides too.
No, so
they play off of that as well.
I was asking, do you think they know? Because, and I think we're getting ready to wrap up. So, I was filming for a women's conference one time, and so the women, they were just having like this open dialogue, and this one girl said something I'll never forget. She was younger, and she had like 3 or 4 kids by different men. She said that I've never been able to function in a relationship because my dad wasn't there. And so she said it contributed to me having multiple kids by multiple men. And she was like, so when a man would try to check me or try to correct me, she was like, who you talking to? But she said I had to stop and realize I never had a dad to correct me.
Right.
So now I'm looking at these men like, who are you
to correct
me?
I
ain't no man ever corrected me.
Right.
And so, but she knew what she was doing. Like she had that realization and she knew it, and you do it anyway. And so, and that it kind of goes back to, if you was listening earlier to what we were saying, you have to go and help yourself. You have to seek out to help yourself. A lot of these people know they're bitter and they don't care. They're just passing it on because they're like, well, this is just my life. All right, but no, if you know you're bitter, if you know you're hurting, if you know you need counseling, if you know you need to reconcile with somebody, don't just keep going. Like, you just keep going, and keep passing that trauma on to your kids. And so, like,
I think that, again, yes, we can tell people to go get help, but it's also our job to show them what that looks like, to show them what positive, healthy relationships look like. And oftentimes, and I know you see it in different movies, old movies to even now, that's what the church was for. The church was there to help, to show people, maybe children, young women, okay, well, maybe at home I don't have a mom and dad, but when I go to church, I have this church family that I can connect with, and that's my community. And we would show, and we would help, and we would mentor, so your life can become better. I think once, like the young lady at the conference, she identified the problem. She identified that she never saw, the positive male influence in her life. She identified knowing like, wow, I have maybe had entered into good relationships with people, but when there was a time of, maybe a male brought something to my attention, I was kind of like reluctant because I've never had that. And I don't care what nobody says, a voice of a father in a female's life is so strong and it is so needed. Like, I am 44 years old right now, and when like I said, I only see my dad once a year when he comes into town, but when my dad sends me text messages to say, hey, I'm just checking on you, or, sporadically, baby girl, I just want to let you know that I'm so proud of you. Like, that weight of my father's voice, even though I'm older, married twice with children of my own, that's my daddy. And you just need that male positive reinforcement in your life. And it is a lot for a female. So again, and that's what I think, like we're talking about, even with the family, that's why you can't, like I said, everybody always has a story, and we can't be so critical. Well, why the woman hard? Why she bitter? Like she just told you, she ain't never had no dad. She never had nobody to help show her, like, baby girl, you don't have to go that way, or you don't have to talk like that, or you don't have to dress like that. Or
now watch this. Because this is gonna go back to something we talked about a few weeks ago about how the person you're with doesn't care about your excuses. Now,
I understand they may not care about your excuses. No. Go ahead.
Okay, so watch this.
Listen.
Now, you don't know why her father wasn't there. What if her mama was just like her? No man could ever check her. No man could ever correct her, could ever lead and guide her. And he just couldn't put up with it. He said, you know what? I can't do this. I'm out. And so we don't know.
That's not that child's fault, though.
Exactly. We don't know why that man wasn't there. See, it's so easy to say, well, the man, he should have stuck around. Some of these women you cannot stick around with. Like, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing. And some men too. I'm not just putting it, but we're talking about the woman right now. So just like her, now she's gone out there and created all these kids with different men. They didn't stick around because her attitude was probably horrible. They was like, okay, we got a kid together, but I can't do this. Now her kids are going to experience. That's what I'm saying. At some point, you have to stop and say, okay, it's not a generational curse, it's learned behavior. You have to stop allowing yourself to continue this behavior, because now you are allowing your kids to go through the same thing you went through, because you never addressed your anger.
And maybe that's why, and like I said, maybe that's why she maybe went to I don't know who you're talking about, but maybe that's why she said, you know what, I'm going to go to a women's conference. I'm going to be surrounded by other women that maybe I can get some help. Maybe I can get poured into. Maybe I can hear what maybe their voice can say to help me. Like I said, it's community. And I know your partner may not care about what you may have experienced in the past, but I believe, though, the more knowledge that you know about a person will show you their triggers, show you why they act the way they act, show you why they say what craziness that they say, maybe why they pop off. Because, okay, well, this is why this person pop off, because they didn't have this, or they were never poured into that. So that's why I always say, though, people have a story, and we have to take the time out to hear people's stories, because their stories matter. And if you know their story, then you know how to deal with them.
But guess what? You don't owe it. Nobody owes you.
I understand you don't owe them,
Nope.
but if this is a relationship that you want to get into, and if the relationship is worth having, you will take the time to be what the Bible talks about, the fruit of the Spirit. You take the time to be a little long suffering.
We ain't talking about that.
Shondo.
That's different. We ain't talking
That
about
is
that.
not no different.
So, okay. So
ham sandwich out of here.
Okay, so let me flip it.
Oh, Father God.
Let me flip it.
Flip.
You women
flip it,
who are
fry
watching,
it,
okay?
Bake it.
You women who are watching.
Don't say you women.
Let's just say,
you
let's
ladies.
just say you meet a man, and he saw his father hit his mom. That's all he saw.
Oh God.
And so now, do you care?
I'm not talking about physical abuse. Now, I'm not saying
Listen,
get popped off in the head.
No, but wait a minute. We wanna qualify stuff. Physical abuse from a man is just as worse as verbal abuse from a woman.
I understand that. I didn't
Because
say get punched in the face and
because
stay.
a woman's words can tear you down much worse than you getting hit in the face. And so again, let's flip it. Do you care about why that man is violent? No. He should have dealt with
but you
that.
need to know.
He should have dealt with that before he met you.
I know we may not care, but again, like I said, knowledge is power. Find out what happened. He may, like you said, he may saw his mama getting hit. Somebody got to stop him and say, you know what? Again, I'm gonna break up with you because you ain't gonna keep popping off and slapping me. But you know what? While we broke up, we need to get you some help. Help the man. Say, hey, you know what? it was nice, being with you. The times was good while it was, but you need to go get some help to deal with your past traumas. And maybe some of the other women ain't never said that to them. Maybe they were just like, bleep you.
Yes, they should.
They say bleep you and they keep it moving, but you got to still help this man get some help.
It's not your responsibility.
It ain't your responsibility, but you can offer.
It's not your responsibility to drag somebody out of that place.
I didn't say hold his hand and take him. But what I did say is tell him, look, you need some help. You need some counseling. You need to figure out. There ain't nothing wrong with offering those suggestions.
Well,
even Jesus told the woman at the well, the man you sleeping with ain't your husband, and all the other ones that you ain't. You want to try something different? Come through. Don't play with me. Even Jesus was helping.
But watch this.
Jesus addressed the situation.
He addressed the situation.
He said, I understand that you in these streets.
He gave her an option, but watch this. He didn't follow her back to her house and kick that man out the house.
He didn't, but he told her
and said, you need to go home to your wife and you need to stop. No, he gave her an option and she took the option.
Okay, so I'm being Jesus right now. I'm saying we need to give people options.
I can give you an option, but it ain't my job to walk you down to the counseling office.
I never said that. Jesus didn't do that either. I'm about giving people options. I'm not just be like, I want to hear yours. Even Jesus heard the woman's story. He told her he said, I know what you got going on, girl.
Well, I ain't Jesus.
Clearly. Pastor Butler. Look, I'm being Shaquille O'Neal. Pastor Butler.
I ain't Jesus and ain't recommend none of y'all out there act like Jesus.
You are horrible.
For real, man.
You are horrible.
It took God. It took God in the flesh to bring that lady out of her situation.
I'm done.
Could nobody else help her but God in the flesh.
I'm checked out.
Whatever. So we appreciate y'all for joining us
tonight.
Y'all.
I'm done.
We appreciate y'all. Oh, hold on. We got a caller. We got somebody.
Oh, somebody calling. Okay.
Hold on. Let me bring you on screen real quick. I think we got somebody who's willing to call in. Hello? Hey, you there? Oh, they just... Okay, we lost our caller.
Oh, call back.
Yeah, call back.
We got our earbuds and we're ready to hear from you.
Yeah. So...
We'll give you, look... We'll do like the church altar call. Will there be one? Hey, are you there?
Hey, you there? It's not the phone keep going out.
Okay.
Okay, there you are.
Hello?
You there?
Yes.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Hello?
Hello, you there?
I think we lost them again.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do it. Here you go.
All right, you there? Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
It looked like she at work.
Okay.
Yeah, it looked like she at work.
It's okay if you're at work, but we do... Oops. We would love to hear from you. If you can, call back. If you can't, we totally understand.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Shabina Merriweather. Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. So if you call back, you can go ahead and give us your comment. But yeah, so
I'm all about.
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yep. Okay.
Because I don't hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
So let me see.
Just
But if you can hear me, what I was going to say about is the traumas growing up. I don't think it's anybody's responsibility to help us deal with our own personal traumas. So we can't blame stuff on, well, I see my mom get beat. Like, for instance, my grandmother, she grew up, her mom was a drunk, her father was a drunk. She said her brother was a drunk. And she said that made her say she'll never drink in her life. And my grandmother never had a drink her whole entire life.
Wow.
But yet, her children, I have two aunts that they are drunks. They never seen their grandma drink. So it's all about, it's a choice. And then when we have traumas, like we all have traumas, so we don't know how to deal with each other and our traumas.
Okay.
I can't hear you guys. So I'm trying to see if I can get you on my other computer.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening to what Mina was saying, that basically it's not people's responsibility to, hold your hand and walk through help. You need to get that help before you mess up
Somebody
good
else's
relationships.
life,
Like,
right.
because you're gonna meet some good people in life according to timing, but if you don't get the help you need before you meet that person that God has sent into your life, that's on you. I mean, it's just.
And like we said, it's all about choices too. Like Jamina was saying, because her grandmother had saw the effect of, alcoholism in her family.
Mm-hmm.
She vowed that she would never do that. But, her aunts, though, two of her aunts, they went another way. So again, just like Jesus, they made a choice.
Ooh,
I offer
like
Christ
Jesus.
to you, oh my brother.
Just like
We
Jesus.
offer Christ to you, oh my sister. He will give you brand new life.
Yeah, it's literally.
Come
gonna
on,
take,
come on.
It's literally gonna take God to help some of y'all to help us all.
It takes God to help us all.
God to help,
and we are forever being
all.
delivered from something. Ain't none of us ain't none of us all the way perfect. But again, we need some long suffering. And these are the fruits of the spirit. Pastor, I'm gonna start calling Carl like Shaquille. We calling Pastor Keith, Pastor Carl.
I'm like, whatever.
Ooh, the level of disrespect. But it was nice having you guys. It was nice seeing you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our topic today, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, so we appreciate y'all tonight for joining in for another Loveless Marriage.
Yeah.
Listen, we want y'all to follow us on all our social media platforms at the Loveless Marriage. Let me see and bring this up. Yeah, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at the Loveless Marriage to catch our clips and to keep track so when we're going live and what we're doing. Also, want you to subscribe to Butler Studios Network on YouTube, where you can find the full episodes, of all the Loveless Marriage, along with other episodes produced by Butler Studios. We also, if you want to support us, our Cash App, $ Butler Studios. We appreciate y'all for joining in. Appreciate y'all for tuning in every week. The faithful ones.
Yes, we appreciate you all that rewatch us and share us with your friends and family. And if there's any topics that y'all want us to talk about or y'all want to hear us talk about, please drop it in the comment section or send us a text message or a message on Facebook. We'd be glad to discuss what's on you all's minds and even maybe have you come on as a third guest on our show, because like it says behind us, we are definitely better together. That is our goal, is to become better together.
Yep. So we appreciate y'all.
It didn't come from the heart. Carl didn't say it from the heart.
I said, yep.
Again, can we love? I want to make the people feel the love.
Yep. So appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next Thursday. Catch the replay on Butler Studios Network on YouTube, and we'll catch y'all next time.
Bye, y'all. Again, we're better together. Yup.
Hey, what you thinking when you think it? You miss the whole point of you. You can choose not to bruise your beautiful muse. Look, all those feelings, they ain't real. It's all in your head. And if you're into healing, try to feel it without going mad. Without going mad. Without going mad. You can turn the switch on any day.